Okay, so I want to talk about, it's called the law of buy-in. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard of this, but we're going to be talking about what it takes to be a leader to be followed. And the reason why we're going to be talking about this, because as coaches, you know, whether you like it or not, you are a leader. And that's because, you know, we are out in the public eye in a sense, you know, whether it's your personal page or your business page or what have you, you are a source of inspiration and you are a leader to people, sometimes whether you know it or not. Jennifer Schmidt shared an incredible story today, and you know, she admitted that she was kind of struggling in her first challenge group about not feeling like her efforts were making a difference. And she was like, gosh, what do I do? Like, obviously I'm not going to quit, but I don't feel like I'm making an impact here. And I told her, just keep going. You're doing the right things. Just keep going. And she did. And then she got that message from one of her challengers. So whether you know it or not, you are a leader. People are looking to you. It may be very silent. It may be just from the back of the bleachers there, but we are at a position where we're taking our lives and our journey and we are becoming an inspiration to other people. So this is where I felt this really fit in with our business. I swear this works on trial. There we go. Okay. So one of the things that I was reading about in my book, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks, because, you know, this can be compared to a business, whether you are in a positional leadership, as in a manager, a supervisor, what have you. But I really felt this hit home in terms of what we do, because we are those leaders. And one of the things that really hit me was that people buy into the leader and then the vision. So when I think of the vision, I think of what we're trying to do. I think of how we're trying to get people to eat healthier and trying to get them to work out. But most importantly, we're trying to get them to do that with us. We want to be their coach. That's the idea here, is that we want to be able to coach them. So we are the leader in that. The vision is to bring them into our world, if you will, of our challenge groups. And so the wording's a little different, but if you kind of roll with it and you kind of understand what I'm talking about, it'll make a lot more sense. And a couple of things that stuck out to me was, people don't follow causes first, then the person. They follow the person first and then the cause. And why this made a lot of sense to me was because you can post and post and post and post and invite all you want. But if you are not being proof of the product, if you are not being consistent with your own workouts, then it's going to be very unlikely that people are going to trust you and want to follow you into that vision. So if you think about, sorry, I've got a million thoughts going through here on this, how I want to direct this. But if you think about social media, and there's, there's just tons of Beachbody coaches out there. There's just tons. But there's a select few that we look to because they're doing it the right way. And what I mean by that is they're building their brand. And I say this over and over again, you are the brand. You are the CEO of your business. So once you create that brand, and we'll go into more detail here in the next slide here, but once you create that brand, people start to follow you. People trust you. People want to go, follow your vision into your challenge groups. And so I want you to ask yourself, like, are you giving your people or your followers, or however you want to, word this, are you giving them enough reasons to follow your vision? And again, we'll go into a few more details about that, but think about that question. And another thing that we're going to talk about is building credibility. Can you be someone that just says, hey, I'm running a challenge group, I'd love to help you? Who's going to look at that and say, yes, I trust him or her, and I want to follow them into this new journey, into the new vision that I have for my life? Are you able to provide that for people? And that's what we need to build upon and work on as coaches. So I thought it was really interesting that every message, so if you think, if we're talking social media here, because that's 95% of how we reach people here, every message that people receive is filtered through the messenger that delivers it. So what that means is you can have a coach that is not being consistent with their workouts, who is clearly not consistent with just their participation in the business as a whole. Maybe if they post something once a month, versus the person who posts 3 to 4 times a day, how is that message going to be perceived by those looking at it? Are they going to follow the person that is completely inconsistent, who has pictures of them, eating an In-N-Out burger? Are they going to follow the person that shows that they're living that healthy lifestyle? And if you think of yourself, think of when you see other people, if you consider the messenger, that person, credible in their consistency, then you see the message that they're sending you as valuable, which means that they are inspiring you. So think about you in their position. If you are the one who is credible and you are the one who is consistent, people are going to see you as valuable and the message as valuable, meaning talking about your challenge groups or talking about the coaching opportunity or your free clean eating challenges. People will want to follow you once you are considered valuable. So one of the things that kind of came to mind, I was thinking about actors and athletes, and this is exactly why they are used as sponsors of products or messengers. So for instance, Michael Jordan, he got signed on with Nike, and it became Nike's stock went through the roof because once they brought Michael Jordan on, it became a whole new ball game. So you think about like Charles Heston and even Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and how they have all these causes and all these nonprofits that they work on. People find those organizations a lot more credible because they see those athletes and those actors as inspiration. They see them as credible because they have a reputation. So one of my favorite quotes as I was making this is, if you cannot see your own value, don't expect others to see it as well. And that comes from your inner confidence. And this is exactly why we do personal development and why we are working on ourselves every single day. And I know a lot of you, not everyone, but a lot of you are moms too. And if you think about that concept of you can't be the best mom to your children, or even those of you without children, you can't be the best wife to your spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, if you're not taking care of yourself as well. And it's the same concept when we are coaches. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to see the value that we can provide to our people, if you will, or followers. We have to see that within ourselves before we can portray that confidence and that value out to them. I thought this was really interesting. When followers don't like the leader, but they like the vision, they find a new leader. And I'll tell you this, I've heard about this happening in our particular business so many times. And what that means is people want to try a certain program. People want to be in a challenge group. They want the accountability, but maybe they have a friend or family member that is the one who is the coach, but they just don't find that leader to be the leader they want. So they're going to go find a new leader. And I'll tell you, a couple of you know this story, but when I signed up as a coach, I had someone that was asking me if I wanted to be a coach. And this was years ago. And I was not a big fan of her as a leader. I had not very much respect for her. I didn't like the way that she presented herself. And so I chose a different leader. And so the vision for me was the business, but I actually chose to sign up as a coach with somebody else because of the way they presented themselves. And it's the same way as in we're presenting ourselves and inviting people to a challenge group. And I thought about the idea, if you're thinking about all this and you're like, well, gosh, I'm doing all these things, I'm putting myself out there in social media and, I'm just not getting a lot of people. Like, why am I coming up short? And the thing is this law of buy-in might actually be working against you, but you might not realize it. And what I mean by that is this, how are you presenting yourself on social media? Are you being true to yourself? Are you really sharing your story? Are you building that trust and being real? And we're going to go into a few more concepts on that in the next slide. But you may not even realize that you aren't presenting yourself as the leader that you might want to follow. So this is a really good way, and I take this very seriously too. And as I'm making this presentation and talking about it, I'm thinking, what can I do better? What can I do more? Because I always feel like I can do better. I can do something different. I can always learn. So I know for a fact that the law of buy-in has counted against me when I've made certain mistakes and how I presented myself on social media. Maybe I wasn't sharing who I was as often, or maybe I was more sharing Beachbody versus myself. And we all know that when you share Beachbody, people run the opposite way because it seems like you're desperate for a sale. So just think about that. If maybe you aren't reaching as many people as you want, maybe you're not, the law of buy-in is actually counting against you. So going back to the idea of credibility, which I mentioned on the first slide, how do you build credibility? How do you, as a coach, as a leader, how are you supposed to build credibility, especially when you aren't face-to-face with a lot of people? And these are the things that I found that have worked for me, and also that I've learned throughout the book that I'm reading too, is, we kind of touched on this last call too, in terms of how to dig deeper, how to build those relationships. And building credibility comes with asking questions. So you do have someone that has approached you, or you've approached them. Instead of going straight into, hey, you want to join my challenge group? Here's my link. Because that's the last thing you want to do at this point. You want to be able to ask questions. And how we talked about it last week was basically peel those layers off. Dig a little deeper into the people that you're talking to. Because the more you ask questions, the more they are going to come out. And the more they are going to share their story with you. And it shows that you really do care when you are asking questions, because it allows you to be the best coach you can when you know their underlying feeling and their underlying mission of why they want to do this. Also engaging. And this is more so on social media. I see a lot of people will just present something on social media and it stops right there. There's no two-way street. There's just, here is something, and I'm guilty of this too, and it doesn't have to be every single post that you do, and you can think of this in person too, but be able to engage somebody. And that goes along with asking questions, but for instance, on social media, engage in people so you get to know them and they get to know you as well. Because the more you do that, the more they're going to know who you are, the more they are going to trust who you are, and that you're able to lead them into the vision that you're presenting to them in terms of the healthier lifestyle and how you can help them through your challenge groups. Being transparent is a big one. And this is really hard for a lot of people. And I realize this, and I struggle with this too. But being transparent is so extremely important, because you want people to know that just because you're a coach, you aren't perfect. You aren't trying to present yourself as perfect, because I know I'm not. Nobody is perfect. And once we're transparent, it shows that we are human. It shows that we are raw. It shows that, hey, I struggle. And hey, I didn't work out for the past 2 days, and I had a tub of ice cream for lunch yesterday, and I admitted that. I did it. And that's fine. No big deal. It happens. But the idea is that I share that. And I think it's important that we are able to you don't have to do something that's uncomfortable to you, but just being raw and honest and transparent with people, because you have no idea how many people that will be able to identify with that. Also be professional. And this can really capture a lot of elements of what we do, but being professional in how we present ourselves and how we speak, and it's even small things, and edit your spelling. And I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I'll type something really quick and then I'll go back and have to edit it. But, check your spelling, make sure your picture is professional, make sure it's not blurry, it's not crackly. It's, it's something that people actually want to see. You're presenting yourself. In some cases, this may be the only way that people see you. So pay attention to how you are presenting yourself, and then make sure you're communicating clearly. One thing that I've seen in the past, and I've done myself too, is that we will simply say, I have a challenge group starting on this, so-and-so date. The word challenge can intimidate people, and plus people just don't know what a challenge group is. So communicating clearly and explaining what you can do, how you can help them, and break it down for them is something that people will look at your post. So if you have all these put together, you have a nice picture and you have a clear post that says, this is what I'm here to help you with. This is who I am. I'm real and I'm here to help, and this is my job. Then people are going to have the ability to relate to you more, rather than someone's like, woohoo, join the challenge group. And they're like, I don't know who this crazy lady is. So some of the things, we talked about the do's. I also want to touch on the don'ts. Don't fake it, because if you are trying to do or be something that is not who you are, I guarantee it will come out at some point. So being honest with people, not faking your workouts, not faking, that you're reading your personal development, because we all know that the growth will come if you are doing that, and it will show through in your words. It absolutely will. So be true to what you're doing. Practice what you preach. Don't go against your word. And what I mean by this is, if you say, I'm going to be doing this on this and this date, or I will email you, or I will get back to you, do that, because people really count on you. If they're looking for accountability and then you let them down on step one, you're screwed. Like, you've already just taken it down a notch and shown them that you can't be trusted. So make sure don't go against your word. Do what you say you're going to do. And then it's cut off a little bit there, but what that's supposed to say is don't try to be someone else. And it's funny because I see a lot of people, Brandy Botts is like the queen of social media. She puts one picture up and she has like 4,000 likes and everyone's like, oh, I love you. But she's built credibility that way. That's just who she is. But I also see other coaches trying to do exactly what she's doing. And you know what? It works for her because it works for her. Not to say you can't take inspiration from what other coaches are doing. I think you should. I know I do. But try to be exactly who you are, because you're not going to be able to attract the people that you truly want to work with if you're trying to be another coach, because then you're going to attract their kind of people. And that's not really going to make sense for you, because you want to be able to work with the people that are similar to you, the people that are attracted to you, the people that are going to identify with you. And then the last don't take and no give. And I guess what I'm saying here is, this kind of goes back to some of the social media, is when people reach out to you and you're not giving back and you're not engaging back and you're not building those relationships and building that trust, it's not going to go anywhere. Nothing will change. Your business won't grow because you're not building on those relationships. So make sure that you are giving and you are putting out there and you are building those relationships and working on the trust and the credibility, and being the leader that you would find inspirational. And then my last, I thought this was really cute. I mean, I kind of said this, but be the leader, the kind of leader that you would follow, and think about what inspires you. Think about the kind of leader that would make you stop in your tracks and say, I want to work with that person. Be that kind of leader. Be that kind of coach. And it may seem far-fetched if you think, well, gosh, I could never be that type of person. Well, you most certainly can. It may not happen right away. Building trust and credibility and relationship, it does take time. It cannot be rushed. So I just encourage you to kind of, think about this webinar a little bit and think about what can you do, and how can you be, I guess, more aware of the law of buy-in. How can you be the leader that people want to follow so you can share that vision with the coaching and the challenge groups and such. So, all right. Well, that's all I have tonight for that. But as usual, I wanted to kind of open it up, and we've got, a couple of minutes here, but I wanted to open up and see if anyone wanted to ask any questions or just talk about something or what have you. So did anyone find that beneficial?
Yes. Very beneficial.
Very.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm glad. It really, like I said, it really kind of hit me because it may be when you first hear about this concept, it more is like if you're someone's boss and you're trying to get them to follow you in a way, or if you're an organization and people won't do something without your vision. But it totally made sense to me in terms of what we do. Because I think a lot of you maybe don't see yourselves as leaders right now. Maybe some of you that are newer and still finding your footing, but you really are. Think about the people in your family that you've inspired. And even if it's one person, that's you being a leader. So I thought it was really important that we kind of touch on that. So does anyone have any questions or anything to chat about?
I did want to say, you touched on a lot of things that I was selling the first challenge pack. I started to get a little overwhelmed because I started to think, what if that's a chunk of money that they could have used for something else? And then why are they believing in me? What if I don't, what else do I need to do? What more do I need to do to not let them down? Like, what if I let them down? What if I don't do something? So I was getting a little overwhelmed, but a lot of what you talked about tonight touched on all of that. And it's really the simple, keeping it basic, keeping it who you are and not trying to be more than who you are. And just doing your best at who that person is and not trying to copy Marcella Bell or, not trying to do that. Just be me because, she's following me for a reason and asking questions, because there's a ton of Beachbody. We have other friends, mutual friends that are Beachbody coaches. So I was getting a little overwhelmed today with just the one challenge pack and everything that comes with that. So tonight was really good. It really helped.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And you are right. They're following you for a reason. And that's really where this all fits in, because right now we have over 240,000 Beachbody coaches. Now, not every single one of them are doing what we're doing and building a business. But there's a lot of voices out there. And so how can you be the leader that stands out? How can you be the leader according to who you are and the qualities that you have to be able to bring people into your challenge groups or your vision, if you will? And it's truly just about being yourself. If I tried to be, Melanie Mitro or Brandy Botts or all those girls, I would crash and burn because it's not who I am, and it would get exhausting. And I don't think it's a genuine connection, because at some point it would come out that I wasn't whatever, whoever, or however. And I don't think that's not what I encourage. Like, be who you are and use your qualities to be the best leader that you can, I guess is how I'm trying to say it. But anybody else?
Well, I want to say something. I think for me, actually, I really appreciate what you said, because I'm still trying to figure out who I am. And I was sitting here, who I am as a Beachbody coach, I guess. But I wonder if that's, like, I have to say I struggle with confidence on posting on Facebook. I normally don't post hardly anything on my private Facebook page. So this is kind of new for me. But I think I really need to figure out what kind of a Beachbody coach I want to be, and hopefully that would attract the clients that I want to work with. And I listened to one of the coaches posted Chalene Johnson's little video on the Fit page, I think. And she had you write a list or describe who your ideal client would be. And I haven't followed up on the videos, but that was a real eye-opener to me, because I can't expect people to follow me if I don't know who I am in this business.
Exactly. And it does take time, Jennifer, and you are still somewhat new, and it does take time to find your footing. It takes time to see, how can I present myself? And I guess my best advice in that, because I've tried this here and I've tried this there and whatnot, is truly just be who you are. Like, you don't have to, yes, come up with an ideal customer because that's your niche market, but don't overthink who you are. You are who you are. It's just a matter of finding how you can put who you are out there, I guess. So it's not who you are, but it's how you express it, but it does take that. There's a comfort level that comes with being transparent and being raw. And I understand that struggle. And for some of us it's easier. For some of us it's really not. And it's super scary. But I will tell you firsthand that the relationships and the people that will come into your life once you do open up are worth that fear. It's not like you have to tell stories from when you were 12 and you peed your pants and all the kids laughed at you. It's not like you have to just give up all of your privacy, but it's about sharing your experience. And it could be even the smallest feeling or the smallest victory or defeat or whatever it is, and just letting people know, hey, I'm human, but this is what I'm doing. I'm working every day on who I am, and I'm working towards a goal. And there's nothing to be ashamed of or scared of when you think about it in that way.
I think can I say one more thing? I think that I get a little discouraged because I feel a little bit of pressure to come up with like an amazing Facebook post that will just grab people. And I don't know if you guys experience this too. And then when I don't get that instant feedback, like those likes, and I don't have that many likes, but I feel a little down about it. And I feel like I messed up, or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of emotional roller coaster. But
well, of course it is. You're putting yourself out there. And if you expect if you're going to put yourself out there that everyone's going to be like, we love you. I get that. But think about what just happened to you today. Right?
Yeah.
You were not getting the participation that you wanted, yet you were severely impacting someone, and she reached out to say thank you for that. You didn't know along the way you were doing that. And that I can tell you from experience, there are so many times where I'm like, I should delete that. Only 4 people like that. Oh God, what'd I do? I'm going to delete that. Okay, I'm done. But then I realized, don't freak out. Don't be scared, because at some point someone comes around and says, by the way, I loved what you said about this. And I'm like, oh, someone was listening.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel good about it and you know you are posting or talking with an intention, a genuine, honest intention, then there's nothing to worry about, because maybe someone's not commenting on it because maybe they're scared. Maybe they don't want to be called out, but that's where you become that leader, is by putting out those feelings and not being afraid of what anyone's going to think. And I still get those butterflies in my stomach sometimes where I'm like, should I have done that? But at the same time, well, actually one of the coaches she's not on this call, but she's one of the newer coaches. And she was saying, I've been following you for like a year and a half, which is crazy to me. I never knew that she was. And she was like, I've been watching you and talking to my husband about you for like a year and a half. And I'm like, that's so cool. I didn't know she was out there. And she said to me today that, she wanted to be a coach, but she was waiting for the right upline coach. And that happened to be me, which totally blew me away. And that's a really good example of not knowing that she was out there, but I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop being who I am. I'm not going to stop being consistent. I'm not going to stop with my message.
Right.
And so it may not be immediate, but I guarantee it's those small, tiny steps you take every day that add up to that big success at one point. And whether that success is an email that says thank you, someone who says I've been waiting to meet you or talk to you, or whatever that is, or someone that says I'm finally ready. So I know that's hard, but think about, as every single thing you do is there's small steps. They're building up. Okay. They're snowflakes, if you will, and you'll be a big old snowball. Okay.
I think to add to that was, for me, I kept hearing you say, share your story and share. And like, I don't have like a fabulous, story. I thought, I probably do. But anyway, that was my hardest part, because I couldn't connect with what you were saying. Like, what story? Mine's not grand. It's not what story. So I kept digging. But I've found that in my post, even if I post, like you said, I had a tub of ice cream today, but I'm getting back up, tomorrow, and I'm going to do this, or posting where I record myself getting ready to go jog or whatever. I've had the best responses to that type of stuff than to some, big, profound thing that I'm not really comfortable with, but I think it sounds right. So I've gotten sharing my story as even my everyday small steps, and not just the big, profound, whatever big story or, big parts, because I do have a story, but it's not just that big, deep, it's everyday small thing, I think.
No, you nailed it. That's exactly what I mean. Share who you are, share what you're doing, share your story, because otherwise you're going to be standing still and no one's going to know what the heck you're doing.
Right.
And then, like Gloria says, I'm just going to be working out with a discount, if that's what you want, great. But I don't think that's what you guys are working towards. So,
coming from my background as like a personal trainer, I get like the whole importance of connecting with people, especially because I remember I feel like if you start making these posts, because I did this for a while on my personal Facebook, where like when I worked at the gym, I would always post about like what I did at the gym that day or the things I was going through. People look at you and it's almost, I'm not going to say it's necessarily jealousy, but they're angry at the fact that they feel like you're doing well. they're like, why is this person coming across so perfect? Like nothing is wrong. They want to hear, oh, I ate a donut today. They want to hear, oh, my kids are running around crazy doing nothing, or this happened today, because then they actually are like, oh, look, this person is human and I can speak to them about what's going on in my life. They're not perfect like these other posts made them look like. So I feel like for me, it's going to be finding the healthy balance between, okay, things I'm just doing as me and things that I'm trying to promote more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I had to take a step back, because I wanted to go into this with my 2 feet just running head first, but I kind of had to stop and go, okay, I need to find my ground and make sure before I start getting on Facebook and announcing everything to everybody that I know the message I want to send out, how I'm going to portray to everyone. That's kind of where I'm flat right now, just trying to read some personal development and figure out more about the Beachbody website before I step into social media, because I don't really want to get too stepped on.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. And I think you're right, you don't want to come across as perfect just because you're a coach. And I think that's what a lot of coaches, I've seen a lot of coaches do as a mistake, and not you guys, but just other people, is they come across and they're like, I've got my workout done. My kids look fabulous. My husband's hot and my day's great. Like, well, BS, your kid probably puked in his shoes before he left for the house. You probably only worked out for 5 minutes and you forgot to put on a bra. So honestly, that's probably what happened. Those are the things like if you read that, you'd be dying laughing. And like, that's the stuff, like whether it's perfect or whatever, like that's the kind of stuff you just got to put out there, because it's what people connect to, and the way I like to kind of see this, because there's times where I'll sit and I'm like, okay, I should probably post something. All right, what are you doing? What should I say? I can come up with something kind of like meh, or I can just post what I'm doing. And I think it's kind of funny to talk about almost like a mini reality TV show of your life. Document what you're doing. Like, you go to the grocery store and you fill your shopping cart with organic chicken and organic asparagus and kale and spinach and bottled water or whatever. And then there's a tub of ice cream in there. Take a picture of that. Like, show the world, like, okay, I eat healthy, but here's my vice, It's just about being who you are, because no one wants to see perfection. That's not connection, honestly. Nikki, are you laughing because you did that today?
No, actually, I was really good today. No, I'm laughing because, like I said, the whole be who you are, and I know we've had conversations about that. I have been, I felt like I had to kind of, this sounds weird when I say it, but like clean up kind of who I am, because I am a little foul-mouthed and a little bit rough around the edge. I'm super sweet, I promise, but I also can be just a little tyrant. And I think personally the people that love me love that about me. But I was like, okay, I'm running a business. I need to be more professional, kind of clean that up. What I realized actually today, talking to somebody that is interested in being a coach, she's like, I love that when I'm excited and when she shares her victories with me, I'm like, fuck yeah, you did, and I get excited. Yeah, I know, I see you. But she was like, I just know you're excited when you start doing that. And I was like, oh, sorry. I mean, it just slipped out because I was genuinely excited. But realizing that that maybe that's a part of my charm, and it's not like a Lindsay Matway sort of like, oh, that's great, but like it's more like like an Amy Silverman sort of like, yeah, I don't know, but it kind of hit me that I think what people like about me is when I'm being genuine and I do let those little things slip, and that I'm not a pageant girl anymore.
Yeah.
This is who I am. So
yeah.
Well, there's a coach that that we met at the Super Saturday, the last Super Saturday. She dropped the F-bomb like every other word, and she does on Instagram too. And I think people
Lizzie
love her for that. Yes.
Lizzie, yeah. I mean, I think it's an interesting concept.
I don't think she has kids though. That's the other thing, but I know you do. It's not that it's a big deal. I mean, I personally don't do it, but I see her post, and I mean, she definitely isn't. She is who she is. You can definitely know that she's not faking it. So
yeah. Just be who you are, and people that find that charming will be attracted to you. I mean, honestly, like I still use the word potty. So
Marcel, can I say one more thing too, though?
yes.
Okay, so I thought, like, from what you guys were saying, one of the things, like, when I first started becoming a Beachbody coach, because I've been one for, like, I think 9 months now, but I've been really, really slow, like, really slow. But I had a hard time finding my voice at the beginning, too, because I would want to post, like, motivational things that really spoke to me. And then, you know, I'd post all these quotes, and that's not really – it's authentic because I really do love quotes, but it's not really me. And one thing that really stuck with me one time, and I think Marcel, this is just worth repeating because you've said it a few times, but you know, I try to pick, like, I talk about my workouts, I talk about Shakeology, but then I have like one or two things other than that I talk about. And I try to stick to those things. And one of them is being a mom and funny mom quotes or funny mom videos or mom fails, because I have 2 boys and I have the funniest stories. And then also I like to run. So I post about running and doing stuff like that. So I try to like pick the couple things that I like, but that are not just about Beachbody. They're not just about working out, even though running is, but it's just a passion for mine for mental wellness, not just for physical. So I think that's really important too for those people that are struggling, like, to find a voice. Like, pick 1 or 2 things, post about it for a while, see how it feels. If it's organic, then it's something that you like, then keep doing it. If it's not really something that you are into, then just pick something else. So I think it's just trial and error. So anyway, that works for me.
I agree with you. Now you make me want to go running, Linz.
I know. I haven't ran since I started Insanity Max. It's crazy. Everybody should be doing it, by the way.
Oh gosh, guys, it's awesome. It really is. So
I'm so excited for mine because I've always been a Shanti fan, like, for the last 3 years. I have the first Insanity and I have Asylum, and like, I'm like, I want my package to come. I want it to come because I want to start the next one so badly.
I think Amanda is blushing because she just got to see him a couple weekends ago. I can see her like, oh.
Yeah, it was fun. He about killed me. An
It's
hour
pretty
long
awesome.
workout. It was about more than I can handle with him.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I'll take his armpit snuggles over his workouts any day.
I think most people
Yeah,
would.
yeah, you got your picture with him. See?
I'll sniff him and smell him and hold his hand again.
I read a meme online one time, and it was like, if you feel like a minute is a short period of time, you've obviously never worked out with Shanti.
Yeah.
It might feel like forever.
Very true. Very true. At least he's good to look at. I'm just going to say that. All right. Just at least he's not. What's the guy with the curly hair and the short shorts?
Oh,
Richard Simmons.
Thank you. Oh, no
Oh,
thanks.
no.
Anyway, but we will wrap it up here. But is there any last words? By the way, I love that we have this little brainstorming session and chat afterwards. This has kind of become like a newer concept, but I think it's really important because very few of you live in Portland. And for some of us that do live in Portland, like I see Lindsay, she's like a mile and a half down the road and one of my closest friends. So I see her a lot, but the rest of you I never see. And even though Lillian lives here and Nikki lives here and Jennifer lives here, I don't get to see a lot of you. And so I think it's kind of fun that we all get to kind of chat and know each other, because I've said this before, like, you guys are all incredible coaches. And I think it's awesome for you to be able to see each other's face and know that you're really not alone in this. And you have the team. Yes, you are running your own business and that is your thing, but you don't have to do it alone. So, just a little gushing, I guess. But
I just want to say that I'm really excited to be a part of this team. You guys all seem really awesome and nice. And some of you have been adding on Facebook, and I don't know, I just appreciate all of you. And I think we have a really good team going here. And
yay!
thank you.
I'm excited for the other. I mean, gosh, I think we have 6 new coaches in the past 3 days.
crazy.
Wow.
So I'll send the Kool-Aid your way. But I'm just excited for them to be on the call too. And soon, I mean, it's you just see how the growth is. Like, sometimes we have 4 people and then we have 6. And then, I mean, we have so many more members than just this on the team, but not everyone can make it. But anyway, I'm just excited for everyone to kind of keep attending. So, all right. Well, I will let you go for the evening. I know it's late for some of you, but thank you for attending tonight. And I hope, you okay, Lindsay?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to. I thought I was on mute.
But I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'm sure I will talk to you all soon.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Right.